You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the May 28th meeting of the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Managers. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'd like to call to order the May 28, 2024 meeting of the Board of Managers for the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. May we have a roll call, please?
Becky Greenlaw. Here. Pat Harris.
Here.
Corinne Myers. Stacy Benton.
Present.
Diane Gonzalez.
Present.
Martha King. Adam Konechny.
Here.
Mike Seitz.
Here.
Don Babcock. We have a quorum.
Thank you for that. Do we have any public comments at this time? Hearing none, we'll move right into our approval for the April 2024 minutes. You've all had them in your package with your email contact, and I would ask at this time for a motion to approve the minutes. So moved. Second. We have a motion by Stacey Benning and a second by Becky Greenlaw. Further discussion, comments? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. As you know, we've been working feverishly on getting a couple things going, and one of them being the retreat. And we are moving right along with that. Jack has been working with Next Level, and the team, our staff and team here have been putting together some planning documents, which in June we're going to have the presentation through PowerPoint, or I should say video, through with Next Level. They're going to actually be involved in the board meeting next month, so we'll be able to get a better look at what that retreat is going to look like. Meanwhile, Jack, Linda, and staff are hard at work along with board members participating also. So we're looking forward to this retreat. It's going to really set the stage for what we're going to be doing in the next 3 to 5 years. And I think it offers a lot of opportunity for us to look at ourselves and see really where we are, and also evaluate ourselves as we go along through this process. So very excited about it, looking forward to it. The FMEC update, we're still working on a comprehensive plan for the county fairgrounds, and hopefully sometime within the next few months, we're going to have a document to actually present. And Randy's not here today, and Joy's not here, but we are working on getting that comprehensive plan together, and it should be available soon for us to look at. So between the county, the fairgrounds, and county tourism, we're doing some stuff in this county. We're getting it going here. I don't have anything else to report at this time. Later in the meeting, we will have a document that we would like you to approve, but we will ask for Becky Greenlaw now to give us our treasurer's report.
Thanks, John. Okay, so for April 2024, we have a total accounts payable of $91,650.59. Total payroll of $47,167.55 for a grand total of $138,818.14. I also have for your review the April statements of financial position, profit and loss performance, and April bank account reconciliations and claim sheets.
Okay, thank you, Becky, for that report, and you'll have a chance to look at that. You also had those in your email packets. I'm sure you all have looked at them prior to today, but just for a refresher as it goes around for your review. I need a motion for the claims for April 2024 and our April 2024 financial statement as reported by our treasurer.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion by Mike Seitz and a second by Stacy Benning to approve the financial report as presented by our treasurer. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This brings us to one of the most exciting times of this, no, just, brings us to our CEO report, Jack.
Oh, boy, that's me, huh? I was kind of hoping you were pointing that direction. That was nice, thank you.
Jack is you were anxious.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, gosh, as Pat kind of alluded to, pretty exciting times for us, certainly. We got a really cool item coming up on the agenda. I don't want to jump the order of preference here, but can't wait to talk about that a little bit this morning, how that opened up for us. That's just exciting. It's exciting times all the way around, though. If, you look at what we've got going with the planning that we've started, Pat alluded to that in her opening. And to that note, I thought I would just give you a couple reminders on a couple dates. We'll make sure we keep this out there for you. But here's one you may not have had. On June 18th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we're hosting all of our community partners that help us with the race. And that'll be at Blue Chip from 9 to 11. The board is certainly, the advisory board, the board of managers, certainly welcome and love to have you attend. We do these every year about this time where we bring in our partners and make sure that we've all communicated at a high level, that everybody knows where everything's going. We're fortunate, Pat, to have a lot of folks in the community that help put this race on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really good to bring them together and kind of do I don't want to say a formal presentation, but certainly walk through everything that's going to be happening. A lot of times we make changes here during the week via email and at our meetings that the community doesn't realize that we've put into place. So we want to make sure the community catches up on all that, and we recognize all the groups, whether it's DNR or Coast Guard or the Port Authority, the Park Department, or we go on and on.
What time is it?
Police, the fire, sir?
9?
The 9 to 11, yes. We want to make sure that we get all of them at the table and kind of tie all the loose ends up and they know what's going on. So that's June 18th. Our June 25th board meeting, after the close of the meeting, I believe, we haven't talked procedure yet, but I believe Pat will call for a workshop probably.
Yes.
Yeah, and then our friends from Planning Next will Zoom in with the board for a workshop. And that, I'm guessing maybe an hour, but I'll try to get a better handle and send that out. How long that'll be, Pat, not real sure. Our first meeting with Planning Next is next week. So we'll get a real handle on what that timeline is going to be and how that's going to go. Or being my staff, our first meeting, our first live meeting with them. So the 25th will be the virtual one, and then, as we mentioned before, on the 23rd, July, that board meeting, they'll be here live. And I assume you'll do the same thing. You'll call a workshop after the close of the meeting, and then they'll be here live to interact with you. And then, of course, the September 23 through 25 retreat at Blue Chip, which is a board meeting combined with the retreat. Just a reminder of those dates. So, any questions on that procedure? Again, our first meeting with them is not till next week, so our goal is to get them up to speed on who we are and what we do. We've sent them enough, we've killed several forests worth of trees and sent them out electronically, so we could do just that, find out who we
And I
are.
just want to encourage board members, we're volunteers, and we have, other things going on, but please, those dates are very important. This is going to be a game changer for our entire community. So block those dates off, make sure you have a chance to participate in the planning and in having input into all the things that are going to be going on.
We're excited. This process itself is usually, in my mind, better than the end result. The process gets us, staff, engaged and looking at metrics and looking at where we stand and looking at things we can do better. So the process usually is, in my mind, way better than anything for us. So it's pretty exciting. We're ready for it. So moving into let's move into the race a little bit. we have put together a formal schedule that is out. Linda, would you pass out?
Yes, everyone should have one.
Brochure? Everybody's got one? All right, good.
Brochure for the whole.
So just take a look at that, please. That is the schedule for the week, the formal schedule that's out for the public. And we're pretty excited about to be able to get that schedule out there. Of course, now there's a lot of in-house stuff that's not on there. And we'll get actual race times will change, I guarantee, will change on Saturday and Sunday a little bit, depending on number of boats and things like that, but it's a great document. It's a tool that we're sending out now across the country to make sure that everybody gets a handle on the schedule and what to expect from the race. And as you can see, it truly is a week-long event at this point, where we keep, that was our goal when we started originally with a race only on Sunday. That's what we started with. Time trials, or warm-ups on Saturday, race on Sunday. Now we're at a point where we're just about filling up that full week, and that's gonna be exciting. Any questions on any of that?
Jack, do we have event insurance?
Event insurance?
Yeah, like if it rains,
Oh, gee, well, not the kind the fair has, that's where we're going.
Okay.
Because we don't, and I'll let Laura explain this, but this event doesn't put us at a loss if it gets rained out. I think what he's talking about is,
Right.
they cover it more, if it gets rained out for their bands, their concerts, then they cover that. You wanna explain that, or talk about that, did I get it right?
You did.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
as far as I understand.
There's nothing for us to recoup back. Yeah.
Just wondered.
Yeah, no. The event, the result of the race is what goes on in the community, okay? The CVB does not get anything back. So if it were to have some bad weather, we're not put in a loss mode, okay? Yeah, hope that helps. Good question. Well, we got all kinds of insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Believe me, we got alcohol insurance, we got vendor insurance, we got our regular insurance. The park department wouldn't even open the door. In fact, I hate to hear the term insurance from the rest of the year. It becomes a little nauseous at some point. But anyway, good question. So that's the race schedule. Now Chelsea and Dee, Linda, I'll pass these around if you would, have put together a schedule just for, we haven't printed it in good format yet, it's just for the block party and the parade. So we made a conscientious decision early on to try to add some improvements to the block party and the parade. We go to these meetings and the racers stand up and say, it's the best parade block party in the world, we love it, it's exciting. Well, we didn't want to sit on that. We wanted to make sure, if that's true, which we believe it is, we wanted to increase that and not, sit on our laurels a little bit. So we've added some things to the event. A lot more kids-free stuff you can see on there. We've worked with the city on getting all this approved. Comes back to my point about the nauseous insurance questions, Mike. All this has been locked in now. A great job, Chelsea and Dee, on Chelsea especially, on taking our part and working with Dee from the downtown organization to get this stuff set up. So we've done a little bit of everything. Besides the kids stuff and the carnival games, we've added a cigar bar for the adults in an appropriate location. Of course, we're going to be food merchants, bands, and so forth. So pretty excited about that too. Going to add a little bit to it. We expect a record turnout for that. Our citizens, our community loves that event. So any questions on the week-long schedule or the block party, anything at all that you can think of? We'll keep you updated. It's that time now where this will dominate most of our discussions moving forward. So, Pat, having said that, Gail, is there anything else under our operations that you and I need to report and think of?
We have our audit scheduled for a couple weeks after the race. We have already completed our workman's comp audit with a favorable outcome, which means a reduction in our workman's comp rate. There aren't any additional tax forms or anything like that that have been happening this quarter. I think we're a little bit ahead of the game actually in payments at least planned. We don't pay for things before they happen for the race, but we're in a better position this year than we were last year, from my perspective, as far as being on track with all of those plans. So, anything else?
No, a great update, that's good, and I'll just, she mentioned the audit for the workman's comp. It's a large jump, but I'm gonna connect the dot here for us. Every January, we ask the board to come in and we give you a recommendation on our attorneys, our insurance carriers, the folks who do the audit, and you guys have been gracious enough to take our lead and support that. I can tell you that the insurance side of this, when I first got into this industry, in this position here, we were fighting for the first several years huge insurance increases every year, to the point that it was becoming hard to even get a budget together. We've switched carriers back several years ago, as you'll recall, and our insurance literally went down every year. Unbelievable. I'm not in that discussion every day with a lot of folks. I don't know how that is outside of our world, but I can tell you all that ours is, in fact, just for example, Gail caught and I saw the email going through, what looked to be a slight increase in our coverage for the board. We have coverage that we get to protect all of you, and officers coverage, some of us, and there was an increase. We thought maybe it was, and it wasn't. She picked up on it, we got answers, but that just reminded me how happy we are with the insurance carrier that we have now, and how that makes my job so much easier when budget time comes. I don't have to worry. I mean, literally, I was factoring in 30% increases 15 years ago, okay, in insurance 12 years ago when I first started, and that's crazy, and that's we're not only not doing that, we're actually getting some decreases, like I said, so that's pretty cool. So with that, if Gail doesn't have anything else, Linda, we'll move into the marketing report.
Sure, and most of mine is focused on the Grand Prix. You've seen the brochures, the flyers. Remind everybody, obviously you can go to the website, GreatLakesGrandPrix.com, to get constant updates or any changes that we might make that are already in print or not in print is available there. We're also, we do have our poster, our annual Great Lakes Grand Prix poster done. So if any of you are interested to grab one, they're all in my office. And then our banner for the Great Lakes Grand Prix that we always have at City Hall has been dropped off at City Hall. The billboard here by the new, what's the new restaurant coming? The Cajun. Raising Cane, which will open this Thursday. The billboard above there will be the Great Lakes Grand Prix. And then talking to Jack over the weekend, we picked up another billboard, North Franklin. The one, if you remember last year, we had a couple guys on the billboard welcoming people to Michigan City. So we're gonna pick that up and use that for, also for the Grand Prix, getting further down into the city. So a lot of things going on there. Real quick, Amy and I are meeting with Sarah Group, in between everything else, working on our visitor guide for 2025. And so Chelsea was in with us the last meeting, but just basically, since it's a new group, just kind of planning out, and it's working out really well, and to have our team involved. We were at ITA this month for the Executive Summit. A lot of good things going on, including some new executive directors for some of the CVBs. So those were so noted. Muncie, Indiana, naming one who hasn't been on the ITA board for many, many years, introduced their new. So it's exciting to see some new faces. Some of the directors retired, some, just decided to go. So it's really exciting. So that's growing. We also had a quick report from the State Board of Accounts, which Amy was real anxious to hear, and just getting some updates. It's surprising how many of those members don't know what the process, and so they're actually referring people or asking people to contact them so that they can be sure that they're doing everything appropriate with the State Board of Accounts. Like I said, a lot going on just with the boat race, and we'll keep you posted, but everyone just check GreatLakesGrandPrix.com. Amy's done a great job in updating the website, so thanks.
Linda, thank you. Good deal. So, got with Amy this morning. We're actually doing some restructuring of some of our reports for the heads and beds stuff. So we're going to skip that today, Pat, on the heads and beds, and jump right into the community relations side. Dale's got an update on some stuff she's been doing. Dale, would you give us that, please?
Sure. Just to catch you up on what I've been doing, I'll pass this around too, because there's some information in there. I'm on the board of the Center for Creative Solutions, and during World Creative Week, which is in April 16th through 21st, Center for Creative Solutions does a lot for kids. For one thing, we sponsored a poetry contest, and we got nearly 500 entries from 3 counties, and we had a wonderful celebration here for the kids. We had about 125 people show up, and the kids that won got to get up and recite their poems in front of their parents and their teachers or whoever came, and they got their pictures taken. Most of them ended up in the paper, so that was a wonderful thing. We also partnered with Sinai Forum, and we had a poetry contest at the Michigan City Library, and we had 7 different women poets to get up and say their poems, and we had a really great turnout for that as well. We were on WIMS radio, and let's see what else was it. Oh, we had a breakfast at the A.K. Smith Center. Don was able to attend that. So with that, we give the kids scholarships that win. So that's money that actually goes into their pockets for the creative contest. So the winners all got to come up, and they got their certificates and the scholarships, and they ended up in the newspaper. So that was a wonderful thing too. So last month, we were able to do a lot for the kids in our community. So that's always enjoyable.
Dale, what age group did they cover?
From about 6 years old to all the way up to 12th grade. But for the poetry contest that almost 500 people entered, there were adults as well. And we got a poet laureate. We named a poet laureate for LaPorte County and gave that person $500 as well. So they'll be going throughout the county doing their poetry for the next year, and then next year we'll get another one.
We gotta get a board member competing in there for that. Anybody feel anything poetic this morning? Just kidding. Okay, thank you, that's good to know.
Yeah, good deal. Dale, thanks. By the way, Dale not only does a great job on the community, but the breakfast today was presented by, the grits aren't any good, so don't mess with them.
You tried
If you don't.
that last month.
Didn't work out. I brought it to Go Box too. Thank you, Dale, for doing that. It's a nice touch. Thank you. So Michigan City is not going to update today. County, you've already touched on. LaPorte. Brett, what you got?
We got a lot going on over at the Civic as usual. One of the big things for the community in LaPorte though is Farm and Forge just opened their market for the season this past Sunday. Fell a little short because of thunderstorms that rolled through, but that's going to be running Sunday from 11 to 2. Farm and Forge, the 600 block of Monroe. It's expanded. I know this past Sunday they had over 50 vendors and I think 2 or 3 food trucks. So it's a great opportunity to get out a little bit, get in or downtown and go to like Barebones for brunch afterwards or before. Wonderful time to spend some time in downtown LaPorte. And then we start our Friday Night Live series on June 7th. This year we'll have June 7th, July 5th, and August 9th will be the downtown Friday Night Lives, and then we'll also have them the night before on Friday, September 20th, on the 800 block or 900 block of Michigan Ave before the 25th annual Sunflower Fair occurs on Saturday, September 21st. At the Civic Auditorium, this Friday we have Jump and Classic Rock Experience coming in to perform. Great concert. It's a great opportunity to see some vintage Van Halen and classic rock at a great price. You don't have to drive 40, 50 miles into the city. You don't have to pay for parking, and it's a very short trip. So we highly advise tickets are priced reasonably, and it's a great show. They've been there once before. They put on an absolutely outstanding show. Classic Rock will open. I think that starts at 7:30, and then doors open at 6:30. Jump will follow. Next few weeks, we have a lot of things going on at the Civic Auditorium. Sunday, June 9th, we have the Super Diamond Group coming in. They performed with Neil Diamond on the West Coast. They've been on like the David Letterman show. They've been on the Jimmy Fallon show. Nationally renowned. They've been traveling and touring for over 20 years. They're in Chicago for a corporate event on Saturday, June 8th. And we managed to get them to come to LaPorte on June 9th. We still have tickets and tables available for that. Day before on June 8th, we have Works in Motion with their local dance recitals. It's a local dance company out of the LaPorte area. Do great work with youth in our area. They have 2 performances for their spring recital on Saturday, June 8th, 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. On June 15th, we have Eclipse Performing Arts. They're out of the Porter County area. They do a lot of great things. They put on an outstanding rendition of the Nutcracker at the Civic in December. This is their spring recital. They'll have 2 shows, I believe, that air 2 and 6. And then on June 21st, we have a Metallica tribute coming in. As you can see, we're doing a lot of diverse things with music at the Civic. They're going to be playing on Friday, June 21st. And then on Saturday, June 23rd, we have the rescheduled Little Mermaid show. Just a little note for everyone on that. We've worked with some local businesses. And the Little Mermaid is licensed by the Disney company. And it's a tribute band for family, I guess is the best way to put it. They come in and they play all the music from the Disney musicals like Aladdin and Frozen and The Little Mermaid, all these things that you've grown up with your kids or grandkids watching, singing along. Well, this group comes in, they dress the part. They all dress as like princesses and princes and things from the musicals. They play the music from the musicals. We have face painters hired beforehand. It's a Sunday matinee show on Sunday, June 23rd. Doors open at 1, starts at 2. And we managed to get some local businesses to actually donate tickets to kids in the schools so they can come out and see the show for those that unfortunately may not have been able to afford it. Although we price tickets at $10 each, we all know it's hard out there right now. So a few companies have donated $500 to $250 each to help get those tickets out, and we're going to recruit the Youth Service Bureau and family advocates to get those to the kids that need them most. We think it's a great project, and we're real happy to have been able to be part of it.
Good deal, Brett, thank you, good deal. So Brett, I'm gonna go ahead and, I know it's still in the works a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and give an update on the thing you and I are working on with the bus. I think it's appropriate to go ahead. So, a few days ago, I met with representatives from Kiwanis. They are bringing in, as much as I hate to say this, the Hoosier, sorry, Mike, the Hoosier bus.
You're right, sure, okay.
Yeah, I did. Are you familiar with that, anybody, the Hoosier bus? I wasn't either at the time. So what this is, it's a replica of the bus that drove the players to the actual games in the movie Hoosiers, okay, which is, we all know about that. So the tie-in here is, we're going to partner with Kiwanis, CVB, and bring that bus to LaPorte, and we're gonna have it here ahead of the 4th of July parade. It'll be in the parade, but we're gonna get it out front of the Civic on the 3rd to help promote the basketball tournament. Okay, what a great way. Hoosiers out in front of the Civic, get a picture, probably get Willameyer's basketball team to come in, hopefully if they're in town during the summer, and get a picture of that in front. So this all started was Brett and I and Gail were discussing the basketball tournament, and Scott was involved in that discussion. We felt like Wallmeyer, the city of LaPorte, and the conference really needed to give us some answers on this tournament, because you can't start promoting this thing in December and November like we've been doing. So we pressed for a meeting. We got a meeting. We got some strong commitments to we've got a name now this year. I mean, last year, as you know, our name was taken away from us hours before the event. All of our shirts we had to throw away. Yeah, it was just a hot mess from a recruiting standpoint because of the change in night coming in and the change in the conference and that sponsor they brought in late. So we've made lots of improvements since then, okay? So we got a name. It is going to be the LaPorte Invitational. And we're still in a little bit of limbo one more year because the night takeover really doesn't take effect till next year. And I think that then you'll see a different name again, unfortunately, and then we'll be able to move forward. But we now have a date for it, which we didn't have last year till again, November, December. So we've got a date, we've got a name, and now we're going to start promoting this thing in July. So hopefully we can get the word out a little better and do our job better as far as communicate with the schools, getting kids there and all that. So great deal, right, Brett? I think we're all excited about it. Some of this is, emails are still moving around, so it's not quite done, but just about, I think, when you agree. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done with that. So good. That's exciting to move with that. So the highlight of my day is hearing about a little bit about Blue Check. Anything for us?
There's a highlight of your day?
Well, they said I was the highlight going in, but I had to defer that, yeah.
Yes, it's mine too. Just real quick, because we've obviously been in the local news, we've had quite the run-ins with Mother Nature. If you haven't heard, hail damaged Michigan City a couple weeks ago, then last week we had the fire. So we're still kind of paying repair, and certainly a good time to have a roofing company for sure and kind of have that. So, but we're good, we're open. Just been, for me, it's really being the director of sales. We have billions of holes in both our ballrooms. The game is closed as well because of the damage from the hail. So we're in the process of getting bids right now for new roofs for both areas. In the meantime, they are plugged, but this past weekend it was raining in, plugging through the holes. So the startup stage is down. We have a concert next week. Joel and marketing is kind of freaking out right now. We're trying to get that up because we're sold out for that concert. So lots of fun. Then the fire happened on the roof. The state and fire inspector is still investigating. We have no idea how that started. Wasn't anything about flames or anything, although the fire department said there was some that they had to put out. But nothing major. It was really the smoke. So we had to evacuate the property. We had to get everyone out from Spa Tower. Fortunately, we have another tower, moved them over the Blue Chip. So we have new rooms, new carpeting, all that. Had Serpro out for the second time in a month. It had to have restoration done for that. So rooms are good. So with that being said, the game is closed indefinitely. Just too much damage. The kitchen area got pretty much devastated as far as the equipment. Nothing really in the public area, so we're gonna kind of wall that off. FanDuel is doing some updates in FanDuel, so that would be new and fresh for this football season. We just got a lot of operations with the renovations and so forth, so, who knows when we're gonna put some attention back in the game. But the game always needed to have some updates regarding that anyway, but right now we gotta focus on our new hotel renovations. Infusion is starting to open up. The wall came down this past week. Hopefully by second week of June, maybe next week or the third week of June, We'll have that open. Our staff is gonna be in there, starting to train and kind of do that, but that is such a beautiful sight when you come into the main pavilion area and not have this big construction wall right there, but it's gonna be eye-opening, and it's just so much better than walking into a tunnel that Nelson's Deli had. So it's new, it's fresh, we're getting all new carpet in that pavilion area, so a lot of changes, a lot of things are updated, so although we thought we're gonna be fully operational, some things are kind of gonna have to be put on the back burner, kind of get the current projects that are undergoing, but we are still open, we still have a lot of restaurants going on. For 25, we're budgeted for the second floor event space, so that Stamstown and New Orleans rooms will be renovated, which I'm very excited about, desperately need. That's the original carpet, everything's original as far as that goes upstairs. And the Wayne Beast is also gonna go through a renovation, so that will be, can't have a older traditional steakhouse across from a new area, Lakeside and Infusion, so that's gonna go. And if anything, talks about rounding that corner and extending the bar area, and so some more or less a harder construction, reconstruction there, but nothing to put the restaurant out to a long period of time, but still a lot of good things.
Angie, is William B's looking to increase their capacity or just update?
Right now, it's a good question. They're looking at it, right? So, of course, when we get to go through our corporate designers, which I got to go through with our Samstown and Orleans ballroom, we're like, yes, we want this, and we want this, and we want all this done. And so, no doubt our food and beverage director, Chris Pellerin, did that for William B's. The problem is, as far as a property that's, I mean, it's not as old, but being in '97, when they kind of slapped it up, you take down a wall, you never know what you're gonna find. So,
Yeah, that's true.
the goal is to expand. They're kind of pushing into where the old, It's Big as Baby gift shop was, and expand that, and even encroach a little bit out on the other side as well, or in the back. Just don't know what that expense may be.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, though, if I don't mean to take everyone's time. But the Infusion, the main entrance into Infusion is actually on the same wall as where the front desk is. So they moved the entrance. So as soon as you walk into the main doors of the pavilion, you're gonna see the entrance into the Infusion. Unlike where it was in Nelson's Deli, right? It was right across William B's. So how that worked out is that apparently that's when, before we built Spa Tower, that was the end of the property right there. And that was an entrance that they used, or an exit, when they had the old front desk on the blue chip side. And then they had everything with the pavilion and had the boat. And you just walked out those doors. That's the only reason why we were able to put the entrance and move it, because the structure, they just drywalled over it.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, take the drywall out, and now we got a whole frame right there. Sometimes there's some good things behind those walls. Other times we're finding all kinds of stuff like that that can't be moved. So I think the goal is to expand seating. And they're also looking at changing the name. So William Boyd is, still, Bill Boyd is still alive and doing very well. But at some of our other properties, they're kind of changing the name and kind of getting a bit more trendy and such too. So who knows what that's going to be. Anyway, lots of things going on for group business as far as we go. We've been very fortunate to have a busy May during all of this with the construction and the rain pouring in my ballroom, so I've been having to be creative. But we've got a lot of things with Michigan City Public Schools. It's their time right now to host their retirement dinners, market breakfasts, and so forth, a lot of catering events. Our biggest group that we have coming back is Indiana School Resource Officers. So obviously, it's a statewide convention that we've been very fortunate to host for the past 7 years. And so they'll be back at the end of June. They're about 250 rooms a night. They come from all over the state. Obviously, a lot of things going on with school safety and so forth, so it's a great program. They love coming up here, appreciate the CBB support to help have us keep that group here in LaPorte County, so hopefully we can continue to keep that bid for the future. July and August, again, kind of going more into catering stuff, but certainly with the boat races, we'll be amping up, so that's what we have for Blue.
Thank you so much, appreciate it. So, in closing, I just mentioned that I alluded earlier to all the community support that we get for the race. Of course, Angie's one of those. She's very embedded with the race teams over the years, had to help them with their lodging and stuff like that. Terry Greetham from the city is just represented us at Cocoa Beach last weekend, did a great job.
Sounds like tough duty to me.
Yeah, we threw straws and he got it, yeah, he was.
Yeah, sure.
You know how it is in an organization, we have had a few staff changes, and it's the next man up, and it is my pleasure to announce that Scott Miller is going to be the race director this year for the race, and we're excited about that. Scott's been working with me last 2 weeks and a half, really excited, and everybody's just stepped up, and we're in a really good spot, and I couldn't be more enthusiastic about the future and a lot of good things. So, Pat, I think that'll close my report for now.
Okay, under unfinished business, now Angie gave us that wonderful report on Blue Chip. Is there anything that you want to update with the advisory committee?
Yes, regarding the proposal that was submitted to us for the NIPDC, or?
No, not that. Not that one. The just the committee. Have you guys had a chance to meet or?
No, not really. With the holiday weekend, it's been kind of quick, but there's really been more on my schedule. But we communicate pretty well on email. Welcome, Tracy. Strawberry, not yet. William, with the Parks Department, and as we've just been pretty much kind of running through utilizing emails more so nothing major.
Yeah, we still have a fifth position that we have to confirm. It has not been confirmed yet. We have a person that we had talked to and was interested. There's some work schedule conflicts that may interfere, so we may have to reach back out to someone else, but I'm going to reach back out to this person just to try to involve her, because I think she'd be really a great asset to that team. So we'll be reaching back out to her. We're working on this. This is going to be a great thing. Just takes a little time. And so with that, anybody else have any unfinished business that they want to bring to the board this time? Okay, that moves us into the last item on our agenda, and we saved the best for last because, as Jack stated earlier, this is an exciting item for us to have the opportunity to be involved in. You know, I speak from time to time about having like a ranking system for tourism bureaus and how we perform, and I think we'd be in the top 10, top 5, maybe number 1. And I say that only because of the level of expertise that the staff brings to this organization. It's really, in my opinion, exceptional, and we do a great job in covering the things that we need to do for the county. And we look for opportunities to improve that. Well, this is an opportunity to do that. The toll road has approached the Bureau, and because of the level of expertise and our performance, we've been asked to be contracted to perform some of the services that they need done. I'm going to let Jack go into this because he's the expert on it, and I'm getting more familiar with it. But at one point I may be a little bit dangerous, but right now I'm not dangerous. So I'm going to let Jack, I know you should be afraid. You shouldn't be afraid. So I'm going to let Jack go ahead and explain to us about the management contract for the
Sure,
toll
I'm
road.
glad to, yeah. So, going back, just a management question for next month. Would you like me to add to our agenda under my report an update from the advisory board?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, I'll put that on. We'll put it down there with the blue chip. That way, and you can talk twice in a row. But
Yeah.
all right, so yeah. So, well, I've talked to several of you off and on about this management contract. I've sent it out for your perusal. So I thought it'd be appropriate to just hit some high points here in my update today. So there's 2 steps to the process that's happening. NITDC needed to vote on this. NITDC, of course, is our regional tourism group. They voted last Tuesday, the 21st, unanimously to move the contract forward, move the transfer of the contract forward. So that part has happened. The second part of this process is today that we're asking that the Board of Managers would approve the transfer of the contract, and again, that's on the agenda for today. So, the contract itself is already in place, okay? It's a management contract that exists between NITDC, our tourism group, and right now, Alliance Marketing, okay? And what we are asking is that you vote today to transfer that contract from Alliance Marketing to the CVB. That's exactly what we're asking for in the motion when it comes up, is to transfer the contract that you all had, okay? So to that end, the contract has been vetted by NITDC's lawyers and by our attorneys. And Laura will be able to speak on that at any point that you might have any questions on that, but I don't ever send you any documents that are going on the agenda that would need legal interpretation or advice without getting that done first, okay? That just don't happen. So that's all happened in this document here. So there are actually 3 pillars in this contract. It's a little, if you don't live it every day and do it every day, I could understand where we wouldn't all understand, but we do, I do. I was president of this group for many, many years, the regional group, so I clearly have lived this for a long time. So the first pillar, as Pat alluded to, is the toll road contract. Okay, that we have 3 years left on that contract, right? That's an exclusionary contract. In other words, the toll road does not opt to put that out for public view. But if any of you would like to see a copy of that, we can show you a copy of that, okay? But we're not allowed to be putting that contract out, okay? The second pillar is a co-op between all of the member counties where each county kicks in money to co-op marketing is probably just the easiest way to put it. We do other things. Now, for example, when we started this footprint of NITDC, we were doing print advertising in the Chicago media with Midwest Living, thank you, you've done that, the magazine. And so we could all buy print media together collectively cheaper than we could buy it individually. Well, clearly that model has kind of left us. So we're still doing marketing, but it's at a whole different level. Most of it is on the toll road and digital stuff. But the point is, that's a pillar in this where each member county contributes money that comes into this, okay, and that's what it's used for. I think if you guys approve this today, I think one of the first things that I'm going to do as being given the job to manage this contract is take a look at, after 25, we may want to adjust that dollar amount and change it a little bit, because again, the footprint's changed, things have changed, and I think it's time to do that. But that's, again, yes, absolutely, I'm just giving you a heads up. And then the last pillar under the NITDC management contract that we're looking to shift over is the legislative initiative, okay? And it's called for many things, but NIA is one of them, okay? And basically it's a organization that Mayor Dermody actually helped co-found, and we offer membership to public and private entities to join our regional footprint in lobbying efforts and efforts to bring appointments to boards and commissions to Northern Indiana. One of the things that we felt we were lacking on every time we go talk with anyone is all the money stays in the donut area down in Indianapolis. We hear that all the time. And how are those monies decided upon? Well, they're decided by boards and commissions that make those decisions. So if we're not represented on those entities, we're not going to get our fair share. So we brought all of our legislators in from all of the counties across the toll road. They loved it. They thought it was a great idea. And so we formed this consortium where we, again, use public and private membership to go out and increase boards and commissions across the state and support legislation that would affect the industry. And a good example would be gaming, for example. We got blue chip price. So if there's legislation coming forward that would affect them either way, we would absolutely get a hold of blue chip, talk to their lobbyists and say, look, give us your position on this, because we want to speak as 29 legislators when we speak and say, this is what we're trying to push forward, or this is what we're trying to help. It could be something with the hospital, it could be something with the US 30 corridor. There's many, many things that we address in this, and that is one of the pillars. So it's a pay to play. Okay, so if NIPSCO, for example, who's a member, if they wanted to join, they could pony up the money, be a member, and we would represent them accordingly. And that applies to any private entity. Almost all of our communities are members, and that will continue as we move forward, as we grow this. So those are the three pillars. Any questions just on that before?
Does that group ever meet?
Oh, yeah.
Legislative,
Well, the governing body does. Okay. Yeah, the legislators, during session, we do breakfasts.
Right.
Okay, yes, as you know.
Yeah.
But off session, they bring them together once or twice. But there's two bodies that govern that. One is all the member counties, which is NITDC, right? But then we've also got an advisory board that I mentioned Mayor Germany chairs, okay? And we meet once a month, okay, on the advisory board that advises us on legislative things, because there's so much vetting that has to happen in that area. You gotta be, as you all know, gotta be really careful if you're gonna step out and try to represent a position, because there's clearly gonna be folks that are gonna be in opposition sometimes, and you've gotta be really careful that we don't get caught up in something that's out of our lane, that wouldn't be something that we would wanna take forward with and cause heartburn. And so we've been really fortunate so far. I think our best success would be attributed to boards and commissions so far. As far as getting pieces of legislation enacted, we've only been doing this a couple of years now, but we haven't really jumped into that heavily yet. We've jumped in to protect ourselves a little bit in a couple things, which is just as important as getting stuff passed. So it's a good component of the group, and I would say if I had to rank the three pillars, in my mind, the toll road contract is by far and above our biggest obligation. It's the bigger money part of the whole thing. But the NIA piece has a lot of room to grow. And I know when I first started socializing this with her, she made it the point that she wants to make sure that NIA piece stays as long as we can, and we're sure I'm in agreement with that, of course, yes. So, let's see here, guys and ladies, let's see what I got here. So there's a couple other just things. I think this is probably what I put in the email to you, but I mean, if you look at our mission statement, oh my gosh, I couldn't have wrote the mission statement any better to fit what we're doing today. You know, I mean, it's to step up and be a regional leader. That's what it says, all right? And we are. Okay, we're proposing to you guys today that we're gonna step up and be the hub, the regional leader for tourism across the state. It's gonna be right here out of this CBB. So with that, I think as Pat alluded to earlier, Angie did, the advisory group did get this, and we asked them to give us an update. Angie, would you mind doing that now, please? Yeah.
So sorry. Yes, the committee, we did meet, and really hands down, it really was a good discussion, but really as it aligns with the mission statement, certainly is a game changer. I'm very familiar personally, as Mike was, and Jack has invited me in several NADVC meetings since the last 10 years, right, as far as we're meeting, so I'm very familiar with the organization. So it just is a natural fit to move it over here to CBD. So we all approve and recommend that the board move forward in adopting this contract.
You know, I found that, recall that in the past, we used to have an organization, it was a statewide organization of all the chambers, along with the Indiana State Chamber of Commerce, and we meet on a quarterly basis and talk about upcoming legislation. And I mean, we've even, testified in front of different committees and stuff. So that is a very effective way of doing things in representing the, the CBBs.
Yeah.
Very good.
Any other board members have comments or even staff? If you want to chime in here, you're welcome to share your input. This is a big deal for us, really. And we don't want to take it lightly and not have everyone have a chance to chime in. So you can do it through emails if you want to continue to do it that way. That's okay also. But if something's burning on you right now that you just want to share, feel free to just share it at this time.
So Jack answered a bunch of my questions in the note that I sent him, and he did a good job in answering them. It's good rationale behind all. The one spot I'm not 100% certain on is, of our 40,000 contribution, does that cover our support for NIA also?
Completely separate pillar. What Don's referring to is, I mentioned the pillar that was the co-op, where each county puts in. Now, I didn't mention the amount because I'm going to try to get that changed moving forward. But right now, it's $40,000 that all the member counties pay in. That money will literally be coming to LaPorte, through this process as part of the total budget that I've given you. But to Don's point, the question was what, Don?
On relative to the lobbying piece.
Oh, yeah,
is that part of that?
No, complete nothing. The lobbying piece is funded solely by member pay to play.
Okay, that's what I remember our discussion being.
Yeah.
Just wasn't all that clear when I looked at this. So, okay.
Yeah, that's I think.
I just know lobbyists tend to be expensive.
Yeah.
And then also, are they effective? That's the other piece, right?
A question has come up a couple times about lot. We've got a line item that you've approved every year for lobbyists. We haven't used it in several years because we've been able to get our lobbying done through the regional piece. And that's, so we've been able to do that. So I think last year we reduced that down quite a bit, if I remember, Gail, because we just hadn't been using it. It was a nice safety net to have there in case we needed it, but this regional piece has kind of saved us from that now. Because we've technically got 3 lobbying firms that we use to work with this NIA project. And Mike brought up a point about the chamber. The chamber had a heck of a good model out there. They really did. And our friends from the Fort Wayne area have got an exact mirror of this NIA, and they actually call it a chamber initiative. That it is a chamber initiative, but we've picked their brains and used their model almost to a T, Mike, because when they talk, the governor and the legislators listen. That's the best way to put it. They swing a ton of weight. They're very well respected. We're getting there, but I'd like to be at their level. But we learned a lot from that group, Mike, I'll just say. Yeah. So, Pat, I guess the other piece that I didn't mention is, if this is approved today, we'll immediately plug this in to our planning process. Immediately, and start backing up. Yeah, because this needs to be, they need to understand this, and, right, it's
going to be a big component of what we're looking at 3 to 5 years out now that we have that part of it, yes.
Yeah, so that will be certainly, like immediately,
Right.
Part of, I got the email ready to send, literally on that, hopefully this gets approved.
So Jack, let me ask you a question. So you said that it's 40,000, it's pay to play, 40,000 per county.
Yeah, that's for the co-op.
Oh, okay,
That's
for
for
the co-op.
marketing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if you want to become a member of the legislative initiative, we've got a tiered schedule. Communities pay 5,000. Okay, I believe private, like Notre Dame and NIPSCO and not St. Class, never mind. Notre Dame and some of the hospitals, they pay a little more because the scale was set that way. Again, by our board, I wouldn't involve that. But it's pay to play, and it depends on if you're a private entity, if you're a public entity, if you're a municipality, it's laid out that way. So 2 completely, as Don asked you, good question. It's kind of hard to get your hands around that when you don't deal with it.
Yes.
Yeah, the 40,000 is completely lobbying or marketing for the counties, completely.
The counties are putting in the 40,000.
Yeah, that's right.
The
It
individual.
doesn't intermingle at all with the lobbying money.
Okay.
So, if I recall right, the Evansville Chamber, South Bend Chamber, Fort Wayne Chamber, in the Indiana State Chamber, they had staff individuals every day at the State House. And they're watching the legislation that comes up that they want to lobby for or against. And then those representatives would let us know, like LaPorte Chamber, on what is happening and how we should approach this. Who from our organization is going to be watching the state legislature to look out for bills that have a positive or negative effect on the CDB?
Yeah, today, it's Dan Barris. Tomorrow, if you vote effective, it'll be me.
Okay.
That's your answer. Yeah, it'll change to the board. And
That's good, that's a direct line then, without any buffering or
That's
anything.
one of the benefits that we're getting.
There are a lot of benefits to this.
And I'm glad these questions come up on the money, because I feel like I missed a step here too, and I'm gonna back up. So, I mentioned in my original email that we're looking like about a $320,000 budget increase because of this. So let me break that down, and maybe this will help all of us. Out of that $320,000, that's just an estimate, Pat.
Yes.
So if I misadd when I do this, just bear with me. But I'm gonna say approximately $160,000 out of that 320, almost half of it, will come from the toll road initiative. Okay, where we sell ads on the toll road. So out of that 320,000, that is the three pillars, almost half of it's gonna come from the toll road initiative. There will probably be about another 80 coming from, it's gonna be 160 coming from the counties, okay? That puts us at the 320. We didn't even factor in the 80 that's gonna come from NIA, because we haven't done it yet. It'll be for next year. Okay,
right,
so
right,
really that
right,
puts us at 400,000, but I was trying to be conservative.
So let me, just for clarification, when you say budget, is that revenue or is that expense?
Oh, no, that's revenue. That's revenue.
I would just change your verbiage here to be, will increase by, we're getting 320 grand we didn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's some expenses
Absolutely.
related to that too, but I mean,
Absolutely.
at least on the positive side, it's the 320.
Yeah. And the reason we did, I gave you the two pillars, the 160 and the 160. There's some unanswered questions on the NIA part, on the expense side, because we don't know if we're gonna be paying somebody to go out and collect that moving forward, or how we're gonna handle that, and we don't know how many breakfast receptions they're gonna be doing next year, some of that I couldn't put my hands on, so I didn't wanna count that into the mix for the purpose of today. The purpose of today, we know there's gonna be 160 of revenue coming in from the toll road, and there's gonna be 160 revenue coming in from the counties, the co-op. That we can budget feel very comfortable about. The NIA one, we're thinking about 80, maybe 100, but we don't know yet.
So Jack, you plan on, during the session, you plan on going down,
As needed.
as needed?
Yeah, we've got Mike Daigle, the head of the managing the South Bend Airport. He handles our boards and appointment with the governor's office.
Okay.
And Mike usually takes an entourage down with him probably 5 times during session to get those appointments made. We do that off session too. So we've got several committees, Mike, that do that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Mike will be, I think, when we get to this point, he'll be the legislative liaison, hopefully.
Because you are.
Or,
Well, I didn't know whatever you
we'll be setting up all new now.
want to do.
And then, again, I don't want to belabor it, but the timeline is, this won't take effect till January of '25.
Right.
We've got some budgeting work to do,
But
and you'll see it all there.
It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, that's
so
right, so, there you go.
Kind of keep your feelers in that.
That's it.
Okay, any other input? Very good conversations and very good dialogue, so happy to see you're all engaged. Okay, with that, then, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the management contract transfer within ITDC from Alliance to LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Is there a motion?
Ms. Harris, can we make that contingent on the notice of section to be completed? I noticed Mr. Hamsberger didn't fill that in.
It's happened since you saw it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
so
Yeah, we really need that information, okay.
it's signed and done.
So do you want me to?
No, not if Gail has it, then
Yeah.
I don't need to see it now, but we need that information on the
Yeah.
record.
Okay. So moved. Okay, we have a motion. Second. We have a motion by Mike Sykes and a second by Stacy Benning. Any other questions, comments? With that, I will call for the vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Well, Jack, we're in a new arena now.
We are, guys.
So let's play ball and let's play fair and let's just win. A win-win for
What they say,
the
watch
board.
what you ask for, right?
Yes.
Okay, are there any other general comments or any board comments? Anybody have anything to share that we feel is important to share at this time?
I thought there was a big deal yesterday, I don't know if you saw it over in Beverly Shores, where legislatively they approved lifesavers along the shoreline of Lake Michigan. So there was a celebration with Pat Boy and Senator Rodney Pohl and a number of community activists from Beverly Shores. And what was really nice about the ceremony was they honored the families of those that had lost somebody on Lake Michigan over the last 15 or 20 years. And there was about 13 or 14 families there. It was really nice. I mean, they had some tears, and it's just so abrupt and so sudden when those tragedies occur. But I thought it was a great piece of legislation that was under the radar, and some people's, I guess, missed somebody someplace. It took 2 years to get it through, but it's done now, and hopefully we'll have safer beaches. So there's still more to be done there. There's a public education component and some more training. But
That was a piece of legislation that we supported, by the way. And because that directly reflects the tourism industry to have a safe, welcoming environment.
Right.
And so that was one that we quietly worked behind the scenes on. So that's a great deal, yeah. I didn't know there was a public event on Algonquin.
I don't know. I got an invitation earlier in the week, so.
Oh, okay. In the mail or somebody told you?
No, electronically. They just invited me, so I was giving them a little coaching on the side here and there, so.
All right. Anything else? Well, with that, we will adjourn the meeting, and just to remind you, our next meeting is June 25th, same place, same time. Have a great month.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Yeah, the work starts now, right?
Sure.